Sports Limelight, episode 55. Hello, Drew.
Hey, Bill, rock on.
You're moving pretty good over there.
Why, thank you.
And that's because we're standing up again.
Yes, I love standing up.
So you want to start with baseball before moving on to the main course, NFL?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate Miguel Cabrera for the Triple Crown.
Just like you called for on a Sports Limelight Extra before the season began.
Yes, I'm so excited, dude. It's so cool.
First time since 67, right?
Yeah. It's funny, he may not even win the MVP. There's some debate there with him and Mike Trout. I guess Trout has some good numbers as well.
Yeah, after just comparing their stats, it's a toss-up. You can't blame anyone for voting for either guy.
Right.
All right, football. Do you have any playoff predictions before the one-game wild card games?
Yes, I predict a Yankees-Braves rematch World Series.
I like that. The Yankees won 95 games this year. It felt like that was a really low amount to have the best record in the league. And I looked back, 2000 was the last time the Chicago White Sox had the best record in the AL with 95 wins. So kind of a more balanced, or you might say mediocre, American League this year. And even though I thought the Yankees were Britted for quite a while there, they just held on enough.
Yeah, so there seems to be more parity with, I don't see any like dominant teams or records.
Indeed. The main theme of today that we'll go with is whether something is simply a flaw or a fatal flaw. Or with assistance from these sound clips here, is it a fatal flaw? Or really not the end of the world?
Yeah. Man, nice some song selections there. Asia and Rush.
Absolutely.
I love it.
New Asia, we just discovered when looking for this song that they came out with an album in the summer.
Dude, I was looking up, Asian Triple X, and well, lo and behold, there's an album called 3XXX by Asia.
Whose job was it to tell me when there's a new Asia album? Who goofed? I've got to know.
Yeah.
I think it might be your job. If you or I don't discover when the new Asia album comes out, we're both screwed.
Right.
But, hey, it's new to us. I will enjoy listening to it this weekend.
Yes, I'm excited.
Now, the Yankees are set up pretty good. So you predict a Yankees-Braves World Series.
I do.
I'm not as optimistic about the Yankees. This is kind of the weakest on paper Yankees team coming into the playoffs in a long time. And other than 2009, the last 11 years, they've kind of failed to live up to those expectations. So, and it's baseball. The playoffs are so random. But I think they don't seem to have the great starting pitching that could come back to haunt them. Even Sabathia is not a sure thing. And Alex Rodriguez and Mark Teixeira seem to be sapped of their power and also very injury prone. So if they can, make it through one series, a 5-game series against either Baltimore or the Angels. Either way, I predict the Yankees will lose in 4 games. Rodriguez, Teixeira, and Swisher will combine bat .083, and they will miss Mariano Rivera in the bullpen.
So you're saying they won't make it to the World Series, or they'll lose in 4 games?
They'll lose in the divisional round in 4 games.
Gotcha. Well, either way, I'm excited for playoffs. This is when I really start watching.
162 games, that's a long season, but now we're to the prime rib.
That's right. We've been gnawing all season long for the prime rib, baby.
Or in a vegan's case like Daniel Bryan.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
What's the best vegetable? What is your favorite vegetable, Drew?
I like the arugula.
Wow, all right, we're getting to the arugula.
The arugula is a vegetable. Unlike the NBA, where you don't get to the prime rib in the playoffs, they just keep feeding you stuff in plate after plate, and you're like, when is this going to end?
Oh, you like cotton candy, do you? Where's more cotton candy?
Well, here's a month of it. First round.
Now, moving to the NFL, Drew. The last few weeks, we've given you our picks. Due to time constraints, we won't quite be able to give you all of our Week 5 picks, but we'll pick the most important games and, play the hits, listeners, teams they would like to know about. So focus more on those teams, and again, ask if they're flawed or fatally flawed. Now, starting with the Buffalo Bills, Drew, at San Francisco, 9.5-point underdogs. Going back to Week 4 first, losing to the Patriots 52-28 after a second-half barrage of points. Is the Bills' defense just flawed or fatally flawed?
They gave up 48 points to a Jets team that just got shut out by the Niners, and they allowed 52 against the Patriots. So I suspect that they are fatally flawed against higher-tiered teams in the league.
I see.
Which is not what you want to be. They're probably one of the best of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them this week. Still love their schedule, so they do play maybe enough of those lesser teams that they can make the playoffs. But until they show that they're not fatally flawed, we're going to have to say fatally flawed on the Bills.
That's right, sing it, Getty. The Bills have fatal flaws.
So you picking San Francisco in this game?
I think the 9.5 point spread is a gift to all Niners fans everywhere.
Ooh, wow. Mistake in the line, says Drew.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the Bills just because that's a lot of points and, hope that they keep it close. Sticking hard to that 49ers take a step back this year thing.
Yes, you are, Bill. But they'll have to wait till next week to take a step back.
When they play the Giants at home.
Hey. So now turn the page on you, Bill. Giants coming off that pretty devastating defeat.
It was gut-punching, sure.
Yeah. This week they're playing the Browns, right?
They're hosting the Browns, 8.5-point favorites. First, we'll look back, and then we'll give our picks.
Okay.
Now, this is what made me think of the flawed or fatally flawed concept to begin with, was the Giants' performance against the Eagles. Starting with Eli Manning, we saw a little bit of 2010 Eli Manning in this game where he knows that he doesn't have as much around him, so he kind of has to play with a little more urgency, and unfortunately that comes with forcing things, like he forced that interception in the end zone. It's not going to get any better this week with Hakeem Nicks still out. Ramses Barden got a concussion, we learned, in that game.
Oh, wow.
So you're down to Hickson, who did step up last week. That was good to see. Hickson, Cruz, and maybe Reuben Randall will be the third receiver, or maybe Gerald Jernigan, but someone unproven is going to have to play a lot of snaps on Sunday.
And don't count out Martellus Bennett.
Yep, he's got to carry more load as well. So the receivers right now are flawed, not fatally flawed. Nicks will be back. The running backs, I think Ahmad Bradshaw is fatally flawed. He just looks finished right now. More Andre Brown, that's what I say.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get that many touches last week.
No, I think he played less than 10 snaps and touched the ball less than, I think it was 5 or 6 times. The offensive line looking flawed, not fatally flawed. They showed last year in the playoffs that they could get it together with especially with run blocking, but right now they're tracking to be worst in the league in rushing again this year. The defensive line not really putting a lot of pressure yet this season. Pierre-Paul and Tuck and Umanura are frustrated that they haven't been able to make things happen yet this year. Now the secondary, I think, is fatally flawed. That's going to be a problem all year long. Kenny Phillips now out, and they're thin to begin with. They get Tyler Sash back from his 4-game suspension for taking Adderall without telling the league. But again, Giants secondary, not good. They let Michael Vick pretty much do whatever he wanted. And looking forward to this week, they'll make Brandon Whedon look like Steve Young. Whedon will throw for 4 touchdowns and over 300 yards. Browns 28, Giants 17 is my prediction.
Wow, Bill.
The Giants lose a game like this every year. Last year it was the Redskins at home and the Seahawks at home. And they'll come out, lay an egg against a horrible Browns team.
Oh, Bill, ye of little faith. They only allowed 1 touchdown last week, so to a pretty potent offense there in the Eagles.
That's true, and they played well in the first half against McCoy especially, and then he just ran wild in the second half.
Yeah.
No gap discipline by the ends.
I think the team is not fatally flawed. Just cut down on the mental mistakes, and you guys should have won that game easily with the field goal.
Yeah, 54-yarder.
Without Ramsey's, pass interference, it would have been, like a 40-yarder. So.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was another thing. It was difficult to fight the urge to want to blame Ramses Barden for the loss, but if I do that, I'm no better than 49ers fans last year who blame Kyle Williams and hate Kyle Williams so much instead of giving credit to Jaquan Williams for knocking the ball out and, Devin Thomas for being alert and recovering it, and the Giants for being the better team in the NFC Championship. So not going down that road, not blaming Ramses Barden, not making him the GOAT.
Right.
It's a whole team effort that led up to that point in the game to lose it.
Well, I'm going Giants this week, Bill.
All right. Wow. 8.5 points.
I'm going with a shutout.
Wow.
Going shutout. Going 24-0.
I would love to see that. All right. Couple other games while we have some time left. What do you think about the Steelers-Eagles game? Steelers favored by 3.5 at home.
Man, that half point's really big considering the in-state rival that this game is. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh here. I think the Eagles aren't as tough as people think they are. Yeah, Steelers.
I agree. I'll take the Steelers. I think the Eagles are their good fortune sort of finally catches up with them.
Much like the Cardinals on Thursday night.
Now to another team that is sure looking fatally flawed right now. Monday night, Houston, 8-point favorites over the New York Jets.
Ooh. Dude, Houston is the best team in the league right now.
They're looking awesome.
They're so balanced. They have a great offense and a great defense.
Can solid
run. Yeah, solid run game. So that's an easy pick for me.
Yeah.
Texans.
I must agree. The Jets are looking fatally flawed. Santonio Holmes out for the season now. Stephen Hill's injured. So they're down to, for their receivers, Clyde Gates, Jason Hill, and Chaz Schillens.
Who?
Along with Jeremy Curley.
Who are all these people?
So, yeah. So your quarterback is Mark Sanchez. Kind of needs better offensive weaponry around him than that. They're really going to struggle. Do you think it's time for Tebow?
Bill, it's always time for Tebow.
We're obligated to ask that every week as a broadcasting entity.
I don't know if you can tell, guys, but I'm Tebowing right now in midair.
It's hard to do. Balance. Good balance.
Thank you.
That's the best balance since 1995's Van Halen album, Balance.
Yes, balance. I will make one prediction that will come true. Tony Romo will not throw interceptions this week.
Oh, are they on a bye?
They're on a bye. Oh, I got you.
Oh, you got me. I was thinking, is he playing the Giants who don't force turnovers now? Eagles came into that game number 1 in committing turnovers, and against the Giants, 0 turnovers. Like I was saying in the middle of last season, whatever is, and you said earlier in the show, before the show, with regards to the Bills, if you've got something going badly, just play the Giants. And in your case, you said play the Bills, and you'll instantly be cured of whatever was ailing your team.
That's right. But the good news is that it's only 4 games in.
That's right.
Plenty of time to improve.
Quarter of the way through the season.
Yeah. The new South Park came out. I did not watch it, though.
I did watch it. I'll just rate it average. On the scale of 1 to 10, if it was anything on TV, I'd call it, 7.5, but on South Park standards, a 4. Episode called Sarcastaball. Stan's father creates a new sport, and there's also a lot on the dangers of football to your brain.
Nice.
Good premise, just didn't get quite the amount of laughs throughout that I would have hoped for.
Well, that's what South Park's done, man. They raised the bar for themselves, and
yep,
it's tough to reach that every week.
It is, and they're on, their 16th or 17th season, so.
Can you believe that? Man, 16 years ago, I was 13.
Wow.
And, at the time, that cartoon was on Comedy Central, right?
Yeah, the whole run.
I didn't realize how raunchy it was. Like, I'm watching this cartoon, and all of a sudden I hear bleep, beep, fart, poop.
Sports Limelight, episode 55. Thanks for being with us, as always.
Yes, it's been a lovely week, except for when our teams lose. Hey, is that Peter Griffin over there?
Have a great weekend. Thank you for listening.